Good morning, Facebook, and happy holidays. Thank you for joining us on our Facebook Live featuring one of my favorite animals, our reindeer. My name is Craig, and I'm an animal care specialist here at Wild Encounters at Brookfield Zoo. And today with me I have animal care specialists Marissa, Scott, and over there training at the window is Jill. And the reindeer we brought out today are right in front of us. This is Sabu. She is a 2-year-old. And then making her debut today as her first time out for a program, this is Lollipop with her trainer Marissa. And over training at the window, if you can see her, is Josie. So I'm going to preface this chat by letting you guys know this is going to be kind of like a training session for these guys too. So with this being Lollipop's first time out, she may get a little nervous at some point or let us know that she's done. So if that's the case, Marissa's going to end her session before she gets too stressed out, and that way this was a positive experience for her, and hopefully she'll be willing to come out more often and for longer periods of time. Over at the window, Jill's just doing a feeding session with Josie because she also decided that she didn't want to come out with us today, and that's okay. All of the training we do here is choice-based, so her telling us no, we didn't force her to come out. So instead we are trying to do a different session with her, something that'll still get her to participate and get her to remember, because we haven't done this as frequently, that training with us is fun and it's positive. She's having a blast already. So if you come back over here with these guys, you might notice something about Sagu already that's a little bit different, and she's a unicorn today. So Sagu lost an antler a little bit early this year, which is not bad. It happens. Normally, female reindeer will actually lose their antlers in the beginning of the next year, so in the springtime. So hers is a bit early. But over here we have Lollipop. You can see she has both of her antlers too. Now Lollipop's really cool because her antlers are very large for her age. So you wouldn't be able to see her. We have another reindeer in exhibit, Bunny. She's about 5 years old. She has a very large set of antlers. Lollipops are almost as big, and she's only half that age. So that can kind of tell you potentially what the social status of Lollipop's going to be when she's a little bit older. She might put herself on top. But over here with Sagu, of course, she's actually the same age. They came together. Hers are quite a bit smaller, and she lost one early. So sorry, Sagu.
I have a question then.
Mm-hmm.
So if the females still have their antlers this time of year, when do the males lose theirs?
That's a great question. So the males will actually lose their antlers right after breeding season. So around the summertime, you'll start to see, and we get a lot of questions about this when people see them on exhibit. Our reindeer, their antlers are brown and fuzzy, but then they start to peel that velvet off, and that velvet that covers the antlers is what helps the antlers grow. So that stuff starts to peel off. It's very bloody, very messy, and we get a lot of questions about that, but that's actually a very normal process. So after those, after all the velvet comes off, then it exposes all the white bone that you see here. And at that point, that's when the breeding season is starting, and that's when the males will start to spar with each other for rights for breeding. And then after that, that's when the males will start to lose their antlers. So it'd be like October when they lose their antlers. So technically, all of Santa's reindeer are females, because only the female reindeer should have antlers by Christmas time. Now I was watching some Christmas movies the other day with my family, and in the one they had mentioned how all he had said, "Oh, my girls," talking about his reindeer, and it made me smile because it was actually accurate for once. So that was awesome.
So do they grow antlers every year then?
They sure do. So so as soon as you'll start to see it with Sagu, actually that empty spot there is going to start growing soon. But as soon as they drop these antlers, you'll start to see these little nubs form, and then they'll start growing and growing and growing. So Sagu's antlers, when she loses this one and starts growing them next year, they're going to be a little bit bigger, and they're going to grow a little faster. And they grow bigger each year up until 4 or 5 years old. That's kind of when they hit their max size. So I'm a little interested to see what Lollipop's antlers look like in 2 years when she grows to max size.
Yeah, when she first came out, I thought she was Bunny because she was in the sun, and I saw those giant antlers. And then I was like, no, that's not Bunny.
And the other neat thing, too, is that the reindeer's antlers are not symmetrical. So, and Lollipop has this crazy mess going on here, but if you were to actually compare the two, they're not the same. And that's it grows like that every year. So when her antlers grow again, they're still going to kind of be in a similar shape as they are now, but bigger. But the left and the right are different.
Oh, that's really
And
cool.
Sagu you can't tell because she already lost one, but if you looked at Josie on the other side, you'd notice her left and right antlers are different as well. So that's kind of like their fingerprint almost. Like every reindeer is unique in that their antlers, are their own. No other reindeer has a similar antler configuration than each other. So.
Will their antlers grow back differently than every year too?
For the younger ones, yes, because they're not full grown, but as once she hits max size, they'll grow pretty much the same each time. So when we look at our antlers that we've collected after they drop them, we can tell which ones are bunnies because they all look pretty much the same. From her adult antlers, her baby antlers not so much, but even so, sometimes you can still tell, like they still have that basic shape. You can kind of tell which way they're gonna grow. But yeah, so we can tell which reindeer those antlers came from just by the shape of them, because that's how an easy way that we identify them as well. We just look at them and say that's Lollipop right there. Now when they lose all their antlers, it gets a little trickier, but because we work with them so closely, we go in with them. They're like kind of like big dogs. They get excited to see us. We know who they are just by looking at their faces or looking at their personalities. They all have their own personality. So we can tell who they are just because we work with them so closely. Well, we also bought them new halters this year, so they look pretty, right?
They're very stunning.
We made sure, at least for our program reindeer, the ones that are coming out for chats, to make it easier for guests to tell, we bought different colored ones. So Lollipop's always got the blue one because her favorite color is blue.
Oh,
right? And Sagu's got the cute little red one today. Yep.
So are those antlers really heavy for them to hold up?
They can be heavy. So for our male reindeer that we used to have, we weighed his antlers after he dropped them, and they were about 8 pounds a piece.
Whoa.
So they don't get as big for a female. So I'd say Bunny's antlers each are 5 or 6 pounds. So she's holding 10 to 12 pounds on her head at all times. So I imagine when they drop it, it's kind of like, whew, this is good.
So where do reindeer live? Not at Brookfield Zoo, but
Brookfield Zoo, at the North Pole. You can find reindeer. They live in Europe and in North America, and you find them in the north primarily. They like it where it's nice and cold, and as you can see, they are built for that weather. So actually right now, it's probably a little warm actually for them. They like it a bit colder, but if you look at them, you can see they have a lot of really cool adaptations that help them live in the cold, whether it's their really thick fur, which keeps them nice and warm, traps the heat in, but it's also the hairs are hollow, so if they needed to swim, they can swim really well too. It helps them float. And they're one of the only animals that have fur all the way out covering their nose too. This helps them forage for food. They can just stick their face in the ground, looking for things like lichen and grass and any other plant life that they like to eat, but it keeps their face warm. It helps them thaw the snow too. And then if you look at their feet too, their feet are covered in fur, keeps their feet warm, but they also have these really specialized hooves that help them walk on the snow, kind of like a snowshoe. And then their feet contract when it's cold too, so it makes it harder, so that they're good at like digging in or kicking out ice. She's so cute. Can't handle it.
And where can people see reindeer at Brookfield Zoo?
So Brookfield Zoo, our reindeer on exhibit here at Wild Encounters, you'll find them between the llamas and the red pandas, so it's a really cool area to hang out with a lot of cool animals. So for Holiday Magic, Wild Encounters is not open this year, unfortunately. So for the rest of this week, up until the 26th, you guys can come. We have normal zoo hours. You guys can come and see the reindeer then. But from the 26th to the 31st, that's when we're doing Holiday Magic for the rest of till the end of the year. So Wild Encounters won't be open on those days, but instead you guys can enjoy the lights. We have a really cool light tunnel that I walked through. and I was pretty impressed with it. You can play the game of gnomes and find all the gnomes. I couldn't find them all. It was pretty hard. Enjoy some hot chocolate, all that fun stuff.
So, are any of these reindeer Santa's reindeer?
Not yet.
Not yet.
So that's part of the training that Scott's doing with Sagu. She's got to get real comfortable with people, clearly, because Santa's going to be around them too. He contracts us out, and we do the training. I wish we could say that, but but no, none of these guys are Santa's reindeer. Unfortunately, these are the regular reindeer. But the cool thing about these guys is you get to learn then about reindeer and why Santa would actually choose a reindeer to be his animal to help him deliver presents.
Well, it just makes
around
sense.
the world. It does. But I think the only difference between his reindeer and our reindeer is just magic. And if he gave them magic, then they'd be the same.
So what are they eating right now?
One of their favorite treats for training especially is oats. So Scott and Marissa and Jill are training with oats. But otherwise, the normal diet here, they get a lot of hay, so alfalfa, and then they get a grain diet made specifically for ruminants like these guys. So it's got, it'll have some beet pulp in it too, and some omeline that like horses like to eat. It kind of gives them a little sweetness to it. So they get a bunch of that too, but their primary diet is hay here.
What's their favorite food?
Probably the oats, but they like bread too. We do train with bread sometimes. We try and limit that so they're not getting a lot of it. But if it's something that's really rewarding to them, that might be something that we use for for Lollipop. She's coming out for the first time. She might, if she really likes the bread, we'll give her a lot of bread. That's a really, really good job for doing that. So then over here with Jen is Josie again. This is one of our training sessions that we do for summer chat that we've done in the previous years, where we'll do an exhibit chat. The animals can come up, guests can watch us do a training session with them. We can show them how we halter the animals and how we desensitize them, and then depending on how the reindeer are feeling and how the guests are, we've even been able to let guests feed them a little bit too. So again, this is another thing that we just need to practice with them to make sure they're still comfortable doing this, and that way when things go back to normal and we can hopefully do these chats again, they'll be ready and willing to go.
Now, I know you said earlier that you want all of their experiences to stay as positive as possible. You want to talk a little bit about halter training?
Yes, so again, all of the training we do here is choice-based. So what Jen's going to do is she's going to offer the halter to Josie here. And now Josie's trained to put her face in the halter to let us know that she's willing to put it on and willing to go with us. So if at any point when Jen was trying to put the halter all the way around, Josie backed off, then we would back off too, because we don't want to force it on her and we don't want to trap her with it. But this is the animal's way of showing us that they want to participate with us. So if Josie just didn't come up, then that's it. She says no, and that's okay. She just doesn't get all the extra treats. And none of this food today is part of their normal diet, so they're not being withheld anything. This is just extra stuff that we're allowed to give them.
Yeah, that's a good thing to point out, that training sessions always are used with treats and not.
Right. And then, of course, if we had the time and Josie was kind of refusing, we might come back and try again, see if there was something that was bugging her and now she's okay. And if she still chose not to, that's okay too. And that's why we have multiple reindeer, and we train them all. So that way, if we do get a reindeer chat that we want to do, somebody may not want to go, but there's a good chance that somebody else will. So we have options too.
What's your favorite fact about a reindeer?
They can see infrared.
What?
Yeah. They have really, really good eyesight. So I know you can't really tell from here, but their eyes are similar. Like if you've looked at our goats and they have the horizontal pupils, that gives them a wide range of vision. But these guys are also, because they can be migratory and they live up where it's can be hard to see with blizzards and snowstorms and just all that stuff in general. Good. But they travel as a herd, so they are able to see the heat of if one of them urinated and then left a trail, they could see that, so that way they can stick together and see each other, even though they can't really see because of the weather conditions.
Really
But I mean, I could talk about the reindeer all day. Just there's so many neat things about them. They're one of my favorite animals.
Anything else?
Do you guys have anything to add, Scott?
I think so.
So, Lollipop is doing awesome today. She actually came out for probably the length of a good program that we would need her to do. So, with that, I think Marissa can end it now because it's nice and positive. She can walk her back and reinforce all those good behaviors with a lot of oats and some bread. I guess if there are no other questions, though, we can say goodbye to Sabu here. And Scott, of course. They're like best friends.
Oh.
She's so cute, right? She doesn't want to be petted. Something we'll work on next, right? But
on the holidays.
otherwise, thank you for joining us again. Thank you for supporting Brookfield Zoo through these hard times. And come check us out before Holiday Magic. Come see the reindeer, and then during Holiday Magic, which is still happening from the 26th, so the day after Christmas, until New Year's Eve. Otherwise, again, thank you for joining us, and have a wonderful day.